St. Louis had been eagerly anticipating this moment. The excitement had been building for weeks through discussions, social media chatter, and local radio promotions. When Kendrick Lamar and SZA arrived in Missouri for the Grand National Tour, the city was not only ready but also eager for the experience. The sold-out venue in St. Louis buzzed with palpable energy. Fans poured in, their voices rising in a chorus of enthusiasm, clad in GNX hoodies and SOS deluxe shirts, holding handmade signs aloft. The atmosphere transcended typical concert excitement. It felt almost sacred, like a ceremony. By the way, welcome to Celebrity Hip Hop Showroom, where hip-hop and celebrity drama never sleep, so hit that subscribe button so you never miss the mess. Let's get into it. As the lights dimmed and the opening synths of "All Right" enveloped the audience like a prophecy, the crowd erupted. There was no slow build-up. Kendrick emerged from beneath the stage like a mythical figure, illuminated by a single spotlight, standing tall with clenched fists and pressed lips. For a few tense seconds, he remained silent before launching into his verse with a passion that felt both rehearsed and spontaneously raw. The audience became his choir, not just echoing his lines but embodying them, shouting, "We gon' be all right," as if it were a personal anthem for the city. The bass vibrated through the floor. Kendrick's delivery sharpened with each word, and St. Louis, a blend of black, brown, white, young and old, responded in unison. No one stayed seated. No one was distracted by their phones. The emotions were too intense. This was far from the polished safety of a studio recording. It was unfiltered, defiant, St. Louis gospel. Moments later, the transition into Mad City hit with the force of a freight train. The beat changed, the tempo quickened, and the crowd transformed once again. This was the anthem that defined a generation. Fierce, intricate, relentless. And Kendrick performed it as if he still lived within the lyrics. His stomping during the Yawk intro ignited urgency in the audience. The crowd in Missouri echoed every line, fists pumping, bodies moving as if in a trance. From the sirens to the skits, the performance was not just a nostalgic trip, it was vibrantly alive. The gritty reality of the city collided with Kendrick's narratives, creating an unforgettable moment. Kendrick had the audience captivated and eager for more. What came next was a special surprise for longtime fans, the live debut of Whacked Out Murals in Missouri. The atmosphere was surreal, with the instrumental beginning softly and infused with a dreamlike, jazzy quality. For a brief moment, the crowd fell silent, as if they were all trying to predict what would happen next. Kendrick started rapping slowly and thoughtfully, weaving intricate lyrics about identity, decay, and survival. St. Louis was quiet, not from disinterest, but from profound respect. The performance was haunting rather than explosive, marked by Kendrick's introspective delivery, lowered gaze, and voice that cracked like old vinyl. The track didn't prompt applause, it encouraged reflection. He turned the arena into a confessional before exiting the stage in near darkness. But this wasn't just a solo performance. Just when the audience thought the energy might wane, a spotlight shone on stage left, revealing SZA in a shimmering metallic violet outfit, glowing like moonlight on the Mississippi. The crowd erupted in cheers as she and Kendrick launched into 30 for 30, a song recently added to their setlist. Their chemistry was evident, not only musically but also spiritually. Kendrick delivered his verses with a measured intensity, while SZA floated through the chorus as if casting spells. Each line was heavy with meaning, and every harmony carried an unspoken story. It was more than a duet, it was a dialogue filled with tension and mutual admiration. The mood shifted once more as Kendrick returned for one of the night's most iconic tracks, Poetic Justice. As soon as the piano loop began, phones went up instinctively, but most of the crowd simply sang along, swept up in the rhythm. Kendrick navigated the first verse with calm precision, allowing the nostalgia of the song to fill the Missouri air. Fans sang every line, many with their arms around each other. It was sensual, smooth, and a moment of pure joy for St. Louis. When the chorus hit, 1,000 voices harmonized on the word justice, as if the entire arena was trying to engrave the night in their memories. Next came Reincarnated, a track that hadn't been officially released but had generated excitement on fan forums, leaks, and freestyle videos. This was the underground gem they had been hoping to hear, and when Kendrick performed it, it swept through the venue like a storm. The lyrics delved into themes of duality, death, and rebirth, classic Kendrick Lamar. He moved across the stage with intense energy, each line filled with spiritual and coded references. Missouri witnessed a performance that felt less like rap and more like prophecy. The crowd didn't chant. They listened, absorbing each word like sacred scripture. By the time he finished the final verse with a piercing gaze and a mic drop, a collective chill ran through the audience. If that wasn't enough, the next guest appearance took the energy to another level. The stage lights dimmed, and a heartbeat echoed through the speakers. Then the strings started, followed by the bass. Kendrick entered the spotlight, accompanied by SZA, who was dressed in striking black and silver. Luther. This was the moment everyone in St. Louis had secretly wished for. The song's profound vulnerability mixed with its subtle defiance created one of the evening's most moving moments. Kendrick's verses were reflective and weighty, filled with themes of sorrow and triumph. SZA's voice soared with emotion. They didn't just perform, they invested their souls into it. While many in the audience illuminated their phones, most quickly set them aside to fully immerse themselves in the experience. When the last note faded, a moment of silence lingered before a wave of applause erupted. But Kendrick had one more surprise up his sleeve. The arena plunged into darkness. Red lights illuminated the stage with an intense glow. Sirens blared once more, but this time, the crowd was prepared. A beat dropped that reverberated throughout the venue. Not like us. This was more than just a song. It had become the anthem of the tour, a fierce diss that transformed every venue into a battleground. In St. Louis, it hit hard. Kendrick appeared in a black tactical jacket, his expression steely and his stance firm. The crowd erupted as he delivered each line with passion. Every lyric felt like a punch, and each punch drew screams from the audience. The atmosphere became primal. Fans from all over Missouri shouted the hook as if they were engaged in a cultural clash. Kendrick fully embraced the performance, with sharp movements, controlled intensity, and swagger in every word. By the time the final chorus played, the venue was not just vibrating, it was shaking. Kendrick moved across the stage, breathing heavily, surveying a crowd that had given everything. He raised his fist and, without a word, disappeared into smoke. The lights stayed off for a whole minute, leaving some audience members stunned and sweating, while others were already in tears. The Grand National Tour was more than just a concert. In St. Louis, it turned into a shared moment of emotional release. Kendrick Lamar's performance connected various eras, feelings, and extremes, weaving together history, healing, confrontation, and celebration seamlessly. With SZA alongside him, the emotional intensity deepened. They didn't merely perform songs, they transformed them right in front of us. Backstage, there were murmurs about surprise merchandise and future releases, but the audience in St. Louis didn't need anything else. They had the unforgettable experience they had come for. In a city often overlooked by major tours, this made the event even more meaningful. Kendrick gave it his all, and in return, the city responded with overwhelming love. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on this story.